Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying attention to the NFL news cycle over the past few weeks, you've probably noticed a lot of chatter about the NFC East, and more specifically, about the Washington Commanders and some of their key rivals. But what's really catching everyone's attention now is the latest drama and the potential shakeup involving some of the division's top wide receivers and the underlying tensions that might be brewing behind the scenes. It's a story that could have massive implications for the upcoming season and beyond. So let's dive deep into what's going on, what it means for Washington, and how this could be a turning point for the division. Let's start with the big picture. The NFC East has always been a fiercely competitive division, historically known for its gritty defenses, tough-nosed quarterbacks, and star-studded wide receiver core. Over the years, teams like the Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, and New York Giants have all had their moments of glory, but lately, it's the Washington Commanders who are looking to reclaim their spot at the top. After a couple of seasons of rebuilding and trying to find stability at the quarterback position, there's a renewed sense of optimism among the fanbase. But as we all know, the NFL is a league where drama, politics, and personal relationships often influence the on-field product just as much as talent and strategy. And right now, one of the hottest topics in NFL circles, especially among Commanders fans, is the situation with their wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. If you've been following the team, you know that McLaurin is not just a star for Washington, he's the heart and soul of their receiving core. He's been a consistent, reliable target for whoever's under center, and his impact on the field is undeniable. But behind the scenes, there's a sense that McLaurin isn't entirely happy. The contract extension talks have been dragging on for months, and with his impending 30th birthday this September, the clock is ticking. The question on everyone's mind is whether the Commanders will be able to lock him down with a new deal that reflects his value, or if this situation could boil over into something more contentious. Now, to add more layers to this story, we have to look at the wider context involving other NFC East teams, particularly the San Francisco 49ers, and how their recent offseason moves and internal dynamics might influence the division as a whole. Recently, there's been a lot of buzz about the 49ers, wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk, especially with some social media activity that has fans and insiders speculating about a possible future trade. Aiyuk, who has been a key player for the 49ers and a favorite target of quarterback Brock Purdy, recently unfollowed the team on Instagram, which is never a good sign in today's social media-driven NFL. It's often seen as an indicator of internal discontent or a desire to move on. Interestingly, there are whispers that Aiyuk's relationship with Purdy has cooled, especially after a less-than-stellar Super Bowl appearance where Aiyuk was somewhat frozen out, and the team's offensive strategy seemed to shift away from him. This is significant because Aiyuk's best friend is Jaden Daniels, the Commanders' quarterback, with whom he played at Arizona State. That connection alone sparks speculation about whether the Commanders might consider making a move to acquire him, especially if Aiyuk becomes available and Washington sees him as a potential upgrade or a key piece for their offense. But what's even more intriguing is the potential swap scenario. Could the Commanders and 49ers look at each other's stars and consider a trade? It's not entirely out of the realm of possibility, considering the current landscape. Washington is certainly eyeing a receiver who can not only produce but also bring a new dynamic to their offense, especially with the way their passing game has evolved in recent seasons. Aiyuk, with his speed, route-running ability, and youth, he's only in his mid-20s, fits that mold perfectly. On the other hand, McLaurin, while still highly productive, is approaching that age where teams start to think about the future, especially considering his contract situation. Now, in the NFL, trades of this magnitude are complex, involving cap space, team needs, and player desires. But the narrative here is compelling. McLaurin, who's been a model citizen and a leader on and off the field, might be more open to a change of scenery if it means contending for a Super Bowl with a team like the 49ers. They're currently considered one of the most complete teams in the league, with a strong defense, a talented quarterback in Purdy, or whoever they decide to start, and a solid coaching staff. A move to San Francisco could give McLaurin a real shot at winning that elusive Lombardi trophy. Meanwhile, for the Commanders, acquiring Aiyuk could be a game-changer. The team has been in a rebuild mode, trying to find their identity on offense, and adding a dynamic receiver like him could elevate their passing game significantly. Plus, with the addition of a young quarterback like Jaden Daniels, who has shown flashes of brilliance and has the potential to develop into a top-tier NFL signal caller, the Commanders could be assembling a very dangerous offense for the upcoming seasons. But of course, nothing is that simple. There are salary cap implications, draft picks involved, and the players' own preferences. It's also worth mentioning that in recent weeks, Aiyuk has been noticeably quiet on social media, not posting any congratulatory messages on Purdy's big contract extension, which has fueled speculation about possible internal issues or a desire to move on. And the fact that he unfollowed San Francisco on Instagram is a red flag that can't be ignored. It suggests he might be open to a new chapter, and the Commanders could be watching closely, ready to pounce if the right opportunity arises. So, what does all this mean for Washington fans? Well, it's clear that the front office is always looking for ways to improve the roster, especially at key positions like wide receiver. The NFL is a league of movement, and star players changing teams is part of the game now more than ever. If the Commanders can pull off a trade for Aiyuk, it could transform their offense overnight and give them a legitimate shot at contending for the division title and beyond. But even if that doesn't happen, the team's management is undoubtedly exploring all options to strengthen their roster and make sure they're competitive in a tough division. Now, let's consider the broader division implications. The NFC East has always been one of the most competitive divisions in football, and with teams like the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and now the Commanders all vying for supremacy, every move counts. The Eagles, for instance, have a very strong roster and a Super Bowl-winning quarterback in Jalen Hurts, but they're also facing some salary cap challenges and potential roster shifts. The Cowboys, who have been inconsistent at times, are always looking to improve their offense and defense to make that leap into genuine contenders. The Giants, on the other hand, have shown signs of a promising rebuild, especially with their young quarterback Daniel Jones and a solid defense. In this landscape, the Commanders need to make bold moves to stay competitive, and acquiring a player like Aiyuk could be that bold move. Not only does he bring talent, but he also adds a mental edge, a player who is motivated and hungry to prove himself. For Washington, it's about building a team that can challenge the division giants and finally get that elusive playoff win or even a deep postseason run. It's worth noting that the Commanders' recent draft picks and free agent signings have been geared towards creating a more balanced and explosive team. The addition of a top-tier receiver would complement their existing weapons, such as Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel, giving quarterback Jaden Daniels the targets he needs to succeed. It's all about building around the young quarterback, giving him the best chance to develop and thrive. The coaching staff, led by Ron Rivera, has emphasized a culture of toughness and resilience, and adding dynamic players like Aiyuk could be the missing piece to unlock their full potential. Meanwhile, the storyline about McLaurin's future continues to loom. He's been a model of consistency, but with his contract negotiations dragging on, some fans wonder if he's starting to look elsewhere, especially if the team doesn't show a willingness to meet his demands. McLaurin's speed, route running, and leadership qualities make him one of the most valuable receivers in the league, and any team acquiring him would instantly upgrade their offense. For Washington, losing a player of his caliber would be tough, but it could also open up opportunities to acquire draft capital or young players who could fit into their long-term plans. And let's not forget, this is all happening in a league where the offseason is almost as exciting as the season itself. Rumors, social media activity, contract negotiations, and player relationships all play a role in shaping the narrative. Fans and analysts alike are closely watching every move, trying to predict what's next. Will Aiyuk end up in Washington? Will McLaurin stay or go? Could there be more surprises in store, perhaps even involving other division rivals? The NFL offseason always delivers, and this year is no different. To sum up, what we're witnessing is a fascinating chapter in NFC East history. The Washington Commanders are at a crossroads, looking to make strategic moves that could define their future. The potential trade or acquisition of Brandon Aiyuk is just one piece of a larger puzzle, but it's a piece that could have profound consequences. Whether it's about strengthening the offense, creating division rivalries, or setting the stage for a playoff push, these stories are what make the NFL so thrilling to follow. And remember, folks, football is not just about the game on Sundays. It's about the stories, the relationships, the ambitions, and the dreams of players, coaches, and fans. The Commanders are building something special, and the drama unfolding right now might just be the spark that ignites their next great chapter. So stay tuned, keep your eyes on the news, and get ready for an exciting ride ahead. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this whole situation? Do you believe the Commanders should make a bold move for Aiyuk? Or do you think they should focus on other areas of the roster? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. This is what makes the NFL community so great, our passion, our debates, and the love we have for our team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more insights on everything Washington Commanders. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep the faith alive for a team that's always striving for greatness. Thanks for being here, and as always, go Commanders.